without any further ado, Mr. Steph, P.O.S.
I hid them because you shouldn't see them. They're like, hid what? I'm like, huh? And then everybody's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, what? Can you hear me? Hi. Alright. So just do this, right? Yeah. So I should turn this off. I made a beat last week. This is what it sounds like. I wrote some words, and I think that these words are gonna go with this beat, and it's not done, but you know, that's cool, right? Yeah? Alright, I'm trying not to slip. I'm trying not to lose footing, loose land, putting pressure on my kicks. Cause when I fall, I tend to land like a ton of bricks, stand like a man made of concrete and sediment like fuck skin. Nobody needs it, there's veins and bones and fat, you know? No tendons, it's raw, no soft tissue to draw your rise to it. So far, flesh ain't the truest at all, let's rip into it. I'm sick of missed shots, I'm sick of trying to fight the women who are content to straight up blind through their tank tops. I'm sick of honesty paired with soft curves, got my world flipped, got me making mixtapes for girls. And that's the skin again, let's blame the skin again, stretching itself so fluidly over these awkward ligaments, and I ain't shaved today. I probably won't tomorrow when it's safe to say I'll probably never shed these extra pounds away, so fuck it. I'm kinda comfortable in mine again. Yup, I'm kinda comfortable in mine again. Yup, I'm kinda comfortable in mine again. Yup, I'm kinda comfortable. So that's how it goes so far. I like the beat, so I'm gonna let it play for a minute so we can all just nod our heads while we sit. Yeah? Alright. Oh. Woo! Yes, okay.
Hello?
Hello?
So, there's no title for that yet? Is that new, or?
It's very new. I don't think there's a title for it yet.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
I'm happy to. Thanks for coming, guys.
So, where were you born here?
I was born at HCMC
Wow.
in 1981, in the summer of 1981, in August, on the 18th of August.
You're a Leo.
I'm a Leo. It's actually cool because it's 8/18/81, which I think is kind of cool, but it might not be that cool.
Wow. Would you know what time of day it was?
No. 8:88 in the AM.
And so, where did you grow up?
I grew up in North Minneapolis until 2nd grade. I was in North Minneapolis, like right off Broadway, until 2nd grade, and then I moved right over the bridge, the Golden Valley Bridge, right over by Arts High, into Golden Valley. And actually no, 2nd grade, my mom met this guy who was like a really good guy named Rick, and he lived in Minnetonka. So we moved to Minnetonka for a while, and then we moved to Golden Valley, right by Arts High, and that's where I lived for a long time. And then I stopped living.
So, what was your first instrument? What did you first? I mean, did you have like a piano at home, or is there any instruments at home?
There was nothing at home as far as like stuff to play. In like 4th grade, I got a bass guitar from my cousin. It was just sitting in the corner of his house, and he hadn't touched it in years. And I just picked it up, and I had been watching, Guns N' Roses videos or whatever. So I just grabbed it, didn't know anything about amps, didn't know anything that it needed an amp or anything like it, because I don't have amps and videos. So I just started like pounding on it, and like I just thought that was how it was. And then I taught myself how to play bass.
So did your cousin see you doing that and go, dude, you should have
I
this?
didn't even really ask him. I just kind of took it. And then, I mean, he wasn't playing with it or anything, so I just took it. And,
What kind of bass was it?
A Gremlin. It's like one of those like short scale. It's like this big, and it's got one pickup, and it sucks. And it was yellow, and the action was like the strings were like an inch off the fretboard. So I was just, and then me and my friend Zane Eckhoff in 4th grade, after I got this bass, like right after I got it, we did a talent show in our music class where where we played. I think it was Don't Cry. We played Don't Cry, the Guns N' Roses song, the original version. We played it in our music class, and like I pretended to be playing bass, and he pretended to be singing.
Oh, it was lip sync kind of thing?
Yeah, he was lip syncing, and I was just playing what I thought
Without
bass
an
should
amp.
look like. Without an amp. We were just playing the tape from the stereo in the 4th grade class, and that was my first performance.
Wow. So when did you figure out that you needed an amp?
Probably not till 6th grade. I played bass and I pounded away at it, but I didn't realize that it got louder than that until around 6th grade when it was time to start a band, you know?
So you got an amp eventually, and did you have, what did you do with it at that point? I mean, did you...
Nothing. I played, 7th grade, I started a band with my friend Clint, who is a DJ who goes by Malice. He's not in this city. He spins drum and bass in Chicago.
Yeah, drum and bass.
Yeah, drum and bass. And he like kills it. He's really good. He goes by General Malice. And me and him used to be in a band called like the Degenerates or something like that. I don't know. It was 7th grade.
So, but bass was your first instrument that you were playing?
And then immediately after was guitar.
Did you ever take lessons?
I took one bass lesson, and the bass teacher, I think his name was Mark.
Where was it?
Mark something. I don't know. At some
Schmidt Music or something?
Something like that, yeah. And I showed him what I knew, and he was like, "That's pretty good." He asked if there's any songs I wanted to learn. I brought in some like Chili Peppers or whatever, you know. And on the first lesson, I showed him what I knew, and he told me that I had to start using my pinky, so I never went back ever again. And to this day, I still don't use my pinky for anything. Completely worthless. I don't care what guitar players tell you.
Wow. So you're playing bass. You've had one lesson, and you've got an amp.
Got an amp.
You're playing with Clint.
Yeah.
And were there bass players that you were, besides Flea? I mean, was there anybody that you were going, oh wow, okay, bass player?
At that point, I still couldn't pick out different instruments in a song. You know, at that point, like you hear a song and you hear the music all together, and then you hear the words all together. And that's how the song is. And it wasn't until a little later that I started realizing that, like, being able to like pick apart the different sounds in the song, you know, that happened a little later. And that was, I don't know, I had already started playing guitar by then.
So, but eventually you started picking up other instruments. Did
Yeah.
that happen, like, as you started playing in other bands, or was it something that you started doing on your own?
In that first band, whenever we had a drummer, his name was Alex. And whenever we weren't playing or he wasn't there, or whenever we were waiting for him to get there, or Clint was doing something else, I'd play his guitar all the time. And he'd show me some riffs and stuff like that. And then I was a lot more interested in playing guitar at that point. And then from that, it was just like anything you put in front of me, all I wanted to do was pound on it or play it. So like at one point, I had an upright bass and 3 bass guitars and 9 guitars and an acoustic guitar and a keyboard and a snare drum.
At what age?
This was probably 8th or 9th grade. Just like acquired from pawn shops throughout the country. Like whenever I got to go anywhere, I'd go to a pawn shop, get a guitar.
How big's your collection now? I mean, have you
Now
furnished
it's
yourself of all this?
now yeah, I've got 2 basses, 3 keyboards, and a drum set, and somewhere between 9 and 12 guitars. In different sets of parts, parts are everywhere.
Electrics, acoustics.
Electrics, and 1 acoustic that I got in 2004. It's my first like nice acoustic, and I got 1 nice guitar and then a whole bunch of crap.
Do you remember what your first song was when you wrote a song of your own on something?
Yeah, it was called Kelly Scarfit's Green Suede Adidas. And it sounds a lot like a Pearl Jam song.
And was it? Did you write it on guitar? Or
I wrote it on guitar. Ended up playing bass on the song.
So this was in that band with
This
Clint?
was in the 7th grade band with Clint. Yeah, we had a crush. The two of us had a crush on this girl Kelly, and we wrote a song about her, and it didn't make any sense. Just like, cause
You remember any of the words? A verse or a chorus?
I think there was definitely a Kelly Scarfit Green Suede Adidas, something like that. You know, like, it was. I mean, it sounded like a Stone Temple Pilots or a Nirvana song that sucked. I remember how it goes. Like it was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on.
I don't know how any of the words go, but I remember that it went like, it's there, dude, you don't have to worry about it. I think it was probably like, or something like that for like an hour and a half.
Wow. So, what was that band's called? What was that band?
Degenerates. I think.
Did you ever play a show?
Actually, yeah, this is how I met my DJ, Turbo Nemesis. Turbo Nemesis rules, so you should all clap. We always played shows in the basement of Clint's house where we practiced. And Turbo Nemesis...
House parties.
House party, but only in that house. And Turbo Nemesis was in a band called Erratic Encounters. He was the singer. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Turbo Nemesis, but he's like the super scrawny, kind of evil-looking dude, like hat. And when I met him, he had like this, you know, the Misfits devil lock, where your hair is like super long and in a point in front of your face. His hair came down to like here, and just like in a point. And it was an alien metal band. He was the singer called Erratic Encounters, and they covered an Iron Maiden song, and like it was like a whole big mess of stuff. Anyway, yeah. We were playing a show, and his band had a tendency to figure out where house parties were playing, and they'd crash those parties and play. So that's how we met. But yeah, that happened.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was 8th grade.
So what kind of stuff were you listening to at that point? I mean, or even just early on. What was the first record you bought?
The first record I
with
bought
your own money?
with my own money was Michael Jackson's "Dangerous" in 6th grade, which was either quickly followed by or right before it. I bought Black Flag Damage 2 on cassette, and those are my first two like tapes that I
So
bought.
what was behind those choices? I mean, why did you buy the Michael Jackson record?
Because it's Michael Jackson, dude.
Was it like the day it came out kind of thing? Like,
Kind of, yeah. Like me and my mom went out to the store, and I had money to buy a CD, and Michael Jackson. But the Black Flag one was more just like, I didn't have any like solid friends, like really in 6th grade. Like I looked exactly like I look right now, only smaller, and I dressed the same as I do now, but I was smaller. So I look like crap, you know? Like, people, I didn't really have like good friends when I was that young. I had a couple people that lived around me that I would hang out with, but like no real friends. So I'd end up skating around by myself or skating around with a couple people. And I just bumped into some other older kids who went to the arts high school, and they were pretty stoked about showing me some songs and stuff like that.
So they showed you some Black Flag or
They showed me some like Black Flag, Minor Threat.
punk rock.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you'd really heard
I
that
mean,
kind of thing?
I'd heard it, and I didn't know what it was. I was already into Guns N' Roses from the videos and stuff like that, and like it just so much louder. And I heard, my friend Andy Heck. I'm really bad at timelines, but my friend Andy Heck gave me his Rancid's first record, the self-titled one, the one that kicks ass. You know, some of them are. I mean, I still think Rancid records are good. I still buy them just because I love the first one so much. But like that first one was just like, and he gave me that and NoFX Punk and Drublick at the same time on the same day. Like he just gave them to me like, you should take these, dude. And he was an older kid, and I listened to those, and that's all I really wanted to do.
So, what happened with that band? I mean, did that band?
That band kind of fizzled just because we were learning how to play our instruments with a band, which was cool, and we were good friends, and we stayed good friends until later on when good friends stop being good friends, you know, because people go to college, people get new friends and have different stuff they want to do. But I don't know. I'm not
But
sure
you met
what your question is.
you met Turbo Nemesis, and
I met Turbo
did
Nemesis,
you guys
but that-
start I mean, you just met him, but did you?
Met him, but like he just ended up being a good friend, like an older dude that I hung out with, and like my 8th or 9th grade girlfriend, and went to Votech, like, you know, like vocational college where you get out of high school and go to or get out of, what is it, junior high school, something, and you go to the technical college and you take a couple classes there, and since I didn't care about anything, I would just go with her and just leave my classes and go with her. And Turbo went to the same vocational school as she did.
Okay.
So he was always outside smoking, and I was always like, I'm gonna go to school with you and I'll hang out with that guy. And we just hung out, and he was always like, what are you doing here? And we play video games and hang out in the cafeteria and stuff.
So when did you? What was the first band that was like
Playing shows and stuff?
Yeah.
That was Ohm. That was with Marshall Lorada from Doomtree and our friend Chuck. And the summer between 8th and 9th grade, we met at the mosh pit of Edge Fest during, I think, Faith No More.
You met in the pit.
I kicked him in the head. I was body surfing, which I don't do anymore, and I don't think anybody should do because it's horribly painful to everybody else. But I didn't know that then, and I was body surfing, and I like kicked him in the head, and we had a mutual friend, and I met him later on that day, and he's like, "You kicked me," and I was like, "Sorry." And then I went to a party at our mutual friend's house, and he was there, and we were like moshing in the garage, like 9th graders are gonna do, you know, and just dicking around. And I kicked him in the head there too. And then like after the party was over, I just went to his house and just stayed there and didn't go home for the rest of the summer. And like we sat and wrote songs, me and him in a drum machine. He played bass, I played guitar. And then I was like, "You know any drummers?" He's like, "Yeah, but I don't think he's very good." And then we tried out our friend Chuck, and he turned out to be pretty good, and it worked out good. And then we had our band, and we played our first shows. And
it was called Ohm.
Ohm.
O-M?
Yeah, I tried to bring a
And you were playing guitar?
Record. I was playing guitar and singing.
And
And it was just the pop punk that you're gonna get when you listen to Rance's first record constantly, and kind of know how to sing and kind of know how to play guitar It was tons of fun. We were in that band from when I was 14 to when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
When Kai, a.k.a. Marshall Lorada from Doomtree, went to college.
Okay.
And then, should I just keep going band-wise?
Yeah, well, I mean, so you guys, the lineup stayed the same, just a trio?
Yeah, it was me, Marshall, and Chuck, and like, when he went to college, we were all working at the Foxfire at that time. Foxfire was in its first year when he went to college. As soon as he left the band, I was also at the time, this is kind of confusing, I guess. I was playing in some other bands. I was playing drums in a band called Hard Knocks, which is like a street punk kind of thing. And I was playing drums and guitar in a band called ADHD with John Ness, who was in a band called The Crush. Have you ever heard The Crush? Woo! The Crush rules. Ruled.
Are they still, yeah, what's
They
what's
broke
he
up
doing?
right after playing Wembley with Green Day. Breaks up right after that. I don't know, whatever. Right as soon as Marshall was going to college, the band Cadillac Blindside had seen me play drums for Hard Knocks, and asked if I wanted to play drums for them, and I did. And it was fun. I did that for a while, and then like 8 months, we just did my first like real touring. Home toured when I was 14. My first like real touring and like show experience was with Cadillac Blindside. We went out to like Denver and played some shows and like all kinds of really cool stuff. And like after about 6 or 8 months, I told them that I didn't like the Get Up Kids and I wanted to start a hardcore band. And I was promptly kicked out of that band, and I started Building Better Bombs like the next day with my friend Isaac and a drum machine.
So, but okay, I just want to know how you go from, you know, anytime the drummer's not there sitting in on the drum kit to like having a band go, "Wow, you're so good, we want you to be our drummer."
I don't know.
Did you take a lesson at all? You ever take drum lessons?
No, my friend John Ness, who played in The Crush, he actually taught me how to play drums. Okay, so when I was 14, 14 was kind of like the age that like everything happened for me. That was when Ohm started. that's when I got a crush on this girl, Sam, and I loved her so much. And Sam turned out to be John's sister. So it went from hanging out with Sam to like being over at Sam's house and seeing John and hanging out with John because John was awesome and my age and cool, while Sam was like 2 years older and totally not into me. So I'd just hang out with John, and me and John would just go into this little corner laundry room that his parents had where he had an amp and a guitar and a drum set, and we just trade off back and forth. And everything that I was doing wrong, he would show me how to do right, and then I would show him guitar stuff, and you know, it just went like that.
Wow.
So yeah, Cadillac asked me to play drums, and it was fun.
So you formed Building Better Bombs, and you were how old?
I was 18.
Okay, and you said so it's.
At the time when we started,
Yeah.
it was me and the current guitar player Isaac. It was just the two of us.
And how did you meet Isaac?
We went to high school together. He
Okay.
actually was almost in Ohm, but we couldn't figure out how to have a band with more than one guitar player without it getting confused. Like he came and like practiced with us once, and it just didn't work out. It should have, because it would have been cool. But Bombs worked, and we practiced in my living room at my mom's house. I had a Roland Dr. Groove drum machine, and I would program all the drums and plug it into the stereo. And then we just turn the stereo up with our little practice amps, and we just stand in the living room and play our songs. And my mom would totally not like it, but she's almost the most supportive person in the world. She'd just be like, turn it down.
And would you?
Yeah, I mean, we would. And then when she went to work, or before she came home from work, we'd just be loud. And we didn't practice with vocals ever. It was always just the two guitars and the drums, and we started booking shows, and then we just make up vocals at the shows. That's how that went.
Wow. So what music were you listening to at this point now? I mean, after...
Right around then, I stopped, as soon as the Foxfire opened, like me and almost everybody I know stopped listening to any music that wasn't from Minnesota, or at least the Midwest. Like, not on purpose, it was just like, there was a place to see like really good like local bands and really good like touring bands. Like so what was I listening to? Like at that time, Can Be Communicated was still a band in Basements. Song of Zarathustra, I think, was just about to get back together. They had been a band for a while and then broken up and then got back together. One of my favorite bands ever. If you ever get a chance to listen to Song of Zarathustra. If you like the song Yeah Right on my record, it starts with the that's a Song of Zarathustra sample. But like, yeah, it's not there. Maybe it is. But that, and At the Drive-In, I was listening tons of At the Drive-In. I had pretty much given up on pop punk because I was bored with it, except for Kid Dynamite, because when their first record came out, it like reminded me that punk rock was awesome, and I listened to that until I got sick of it. But At the Drive-In, Charles Bronson, that kind of stuff. Swing Kids.
So you mentioned a couple of these songs that we have here. At what point did those like rock your world?
These songs right here.
These
again,
Spoon
14.
and Bouncing Souls.
My friend, I was in Alcoholics Anonymous when I was 14. I sobered up. I was doing. It's kind of a long story. I won't even go into it that much, but I started really young, stopped when I was 14, stayed sober till I was 21, which was 3 years longer than the goal I had set for myself when I got sober. And to this point, I still can barely finish a whole beer. Anyway, my friend that I met through the program played me a lot of music that when I was 14 I didn't get and I didn't understand, but he liked it and I thought he was cool, so I'd buy it all or get him to burn it for me. And then I eventually grew into it. Bands like Spoon, Refused, and like Drive Like Jehu and stuff like that, which I listened to and liked, but I didn't get. It wasn't as easy to follow as No Effects, so I was just like not feeling it. But eventually I got it. You should play that song because it's the best song I've ever heard.
The Spoon song?
Yeah, this is a band, Spoon. I'm not sure if anybody here is familiar with Spoon,
Yeah.
but they're the best fucking band ever. Like period. And like every beat that I made when I first started making beats, I wanted to sound like this song. Like the way that this song is put together with the drums and with the guitars and everything, it's so disjointed. It sounds like it's falling apart the entire time. I wanted all of my beats to have that feel. And
so this is 30-gallon tank?
30-gallon tank. You have to go up and then About this band
Yeah,
that I like so much?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like, it's everything. It's like, they make, I mean, this song is just a guitar and another guitar and drums. And it's so full, and they make things that don't seem like they should work so well. Even now, like, they have their new record's called Give Me Fiction, and every record they make is like slightly better than the one before. And all of them are just genius, so buy all of their records immediately. But like, it's everything about it. It's like, it's really poppy, but not too poppy. You know what I'm saying? It's really like dissonant, strange, but not too dissonant and strange. It's really noisy, but not too noisy. You know, like it's really.
Have you ever used Spoon samples?
I've sampled Spoon on both records. I'm not telling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then you've got some Bouncing Souls here too. What's the story with that?
This is about anybody like the Bouncing Souls? Woo! Anybody used to like the Bouncing Souls when you were younger? Is there more of that? Because I usually get more of that. Like the Bouncing Souls are one of those bands that if you grew up on like pop punk or like street punk or that kind of thing, they were always the one that was like, they fit with the rest of the bands, but they didn't quite fit with the rest of the bands. They were way too like, you know, Rancid's all anthems, you know? No Effects is all like sang hooks. And then Bouncing Souls is just like, what? It's just like these guys, and they're so clearly having such a great time all the time. The drummer is so weird. It doesn't play right on beat ever. And like how he sings, like aside from like, he sings really like, well, we'll play something, but like, when just listen to the song and then think about the guy who's singing wearing like a pink button-up shirt with his hair combed, holding the mic like right at the cord, so like it's sticking up, so he's holding like an ice cream cone, and he's just like walking